So this is the Computing and Economics suite. So this suite contains 3 subjects, computer science, IT and economics. So computer science and economics are 2 of the more prestigious subjects that we offer. Not all secondary schools offer these 2 subjects, particularly when we look at the local area. So this is a really good opportunity that you've got here at Wickersley to study these 2 subjects. Those 2 subjects are often directly linked to quite well-paid careers for both girls and boys alike. And ICT is kind of the glue that links both of those 2 together. So I'm going to talk first about computer science. So computer science looks at how computer systems work. It's also got a focus on solving problems and writing your own algorithms. So it really is the science behind computers. It's what the individual components do, how they work, and writing your own algorithms and computer programs. So you will be expected to design and write your own computer programs as part of this course, as well as looking at the individual components that make up the digital systems, what each of their roles are, and how they communicate with one another and with other systems. So in year 9, you'll study a range of topics in computer science. So we'll start with creating a basic website. So we'll be using HTML and CSS to create your very own website. We'll take a computer to pieces and look at the different hardware and software involved in a computer system and making a computer system work. We'll then move into algorithms and looking at how we can represent algorithms using flowcharts and pseudocode. Moving on to Python, where we create our own programs, writing programs in the Python language. And then we look at computer networks in detail, so the different components of a computer network and the fundamental technologies behind networks such as the internet. Looking ahead to years 10 and 11, so this is a GCSE course that's made up of 2 components, each of which is worth 50% of the overall grade. So component 1 is computer systems, where we look at each of the components in the computer system in detail. So what are the different parts of a CPU, for example. We also look at how images, sounds and text are represented in binary and hexadecimal, networks and security. So at the end of year 11, you'll have 1 exam for that component, which is 1.5 hours. The second component covers computational thinking, algorithms and programming. So this is where we focus on your programming skills and your ability to understand and create your own algorithms. Again, 1 exam at the end of year 11, which is 1.5 hours and worth 50% of your overall grade. So there are entry requirements for this particular suite. So we'll be looking at, on a student-by-student basis, your attainment in subjects such as ICT, maths and English, along with your overall effort when we're considering the suitability of you for this particular subject. So this subject is ideal for anybody that's got an interest in technology. If you want to know how computer systems work and be able to create your own programs, then this course is for you. And ideal for anybody that's looking to study computer science or computing in further education or wanting to work in the technology industry. In terms of career paths, there's a wide range of jobs where a computer science qualification will benefit you. So if we look at some of those examples given there, IT consultant, network engineer, software developer, just to name a few. But there's a good chance that the career path that you might end up in doesn't even exist yet, but this is going to be a good foundation that's going to lead you there. The next subject in this suite that I'm going to talk about is IT. So IT explores how we use information technology in the digital world around us. So we focus on user interfaces. No matter what we're doing, we may not even realise it, we're going to be using some form of IT interface. So whether that's your microwave, your smartwatch or your car, IT interfaces are everywhere. So we're going to look at the importance of those user interfaces. We're going to look at some of the decisions that were made when designing the interfaces in terms of making sure that they're accessible for people with varying skill levels or disabilities. We will design our own user interface for an app project, and along the way we're going to be looking at different software packages to create our own digital content. In addition to this, we're going to look at data. We're going to look at how we can use spreadsheets to manipulate data, make charts and graphs, which is going to allow people to make informed decisions. So in Year 9 with IT, again, we're going to look at a range of topics, some of which will be practical skills and others are more theory-based. So we'll look at image manipulation, editing images, and looking at keyframe animations. We'll look at sound editing, project planning, interface design, spreadsheets and interface theory. So building on some of the skills such as spreadsheets from Year 8 and some new topics there, project planning and sound editing. So moving forward to Years 10 and 11, so IT, the full title of that course is Digital Information Technology, and that's a BTEC Tech Award. So that's split into 3 components, 2 of which are internally assessed. What that means is it's a coursework project which is marked by your teacher. So you'll complete this in lesson and your teacher will give you a grade for that. So that applies to components 1 and 2. Component 1 is about user interface design. Component 2 is about interpreting data, where you'll be creating a dashboard using a spreadsheet product. And each of those 2 components is worth 30% of your overall grade. The final 40% comes from an exam. So we look at how organisations use ICT, and that's worth 40% with an exam in Year 11. There aren't many jobs where IT will not be beneficial to you. So a good foundation in IT is going to have a positive impact in a wide range of career paths. So there's some IT-specific jobs you can see there, IT technician, web designer, app developer. But no matter what career path you choose, a good understanding of IT is going to be beneficial to you.
Economics is a subject that looks at real-world issues through the lens of 3 different stakeholders: the government, us consumers, and businesses. Economics is divided into 2 discrete disciplines. We have macroeconomics and microeconomics. Macroeconomics looks at the role of the government and our wider economy. We look at how we manage the role of money in our society, and it deals with current issues in our national economy and looks at broader international trade. Microeconomics, the key is in the word micro. We put a particular market underneath the microscope. We look at the production of goods and services in specific markets. There are some examples on the PowerPoint slides, such as the automobile industry, energy, and housing. Within our subject, students learn through studying current economic events. We look at news articles, watch videos, and they undertake several of their own research projects. They'll become familiar with analysing economic data to draw their own conclusions. So what do we study in economics in Year 9? Well, we explore a taster of topics that makes this relatively new subject relatable to our students, by drawing on their everyday lives and looking at a selection of micro and macroeconomic principles. Firstly, we look at the economic impact on you and your household. So how economics impacts things like how we go on holiday, how we save money, to everyday mundane tasks such as our food shopping. We then move on to government policy, tax and spending, so how the government controls how much money we spend. We track unemployment and employment rates in the UK and across industries around the world. Students learn important skills such as drawing diagrams like supply and demand for the different goods and services across the different industries we look at in microeconomics. And lastly, we look at international trade. We look at the differences in the countries that make up our global economy and learn how to do basic calculations such as exchange rates. If you go on to choose economics for your GCSEs, you can have a look at our specification. We follow the AQA GCSE 1 to 9. Students will be examined after studying both micro and macroeconomics and have 2 separate papers. The first paper is how markets work, the second paper is how the economy works. So as you can see, the Year 9 course sets students up nicely to be able to study the 2 different economic disciplines. Not only will this give you a good GCSE qualification, it will gain you an awareness that will benefit you both personally and professionally for years to come. We will consider your attainment in maths and English along with your efforts in Year 8 when considering you for the suitability of this subject. There's several career paths available to you if you study economics. To name but a few that are on the screen now, we've got accountancy, statisticians, economic consultants. We've had some of our students to go on to form parts of the bodies that advise the government. So if you're thinking of pursuing a career in economics, it's definitely one to try in Year 9.